Welcome to my channel. Today we're going to talk about money. Specifically, I'm going to share with you the top 10 rules for financial freedom. Now, I want to be clear that this is not financial advice. This is just what has worked for me in my journey towards financial freedom. But these are some simple things that have really helped me to get where I am today. So let's jump into it. The first rule is never keep up with the Joneses. So what does that mean? Well, it means don't compare your success to someone else. Everyone's situation is different. Everyone has different financial resources, different support systems, different levels of education, and everyone's goals and priorities are going to be different. You can't compare apples to oranges, so focus on your own journey and don't compare yourself to others. The second rule is to save as much as you can. Now, I know that might seem pretty straightforward, but it's actually a lot harder than it seems. There's a lot of psychological barriers that we have to overcome in order to be able to save money. For example, there's something called loss aversion, which is the idea that the pain of losing is psychologically twice as powerful as the pleasure of gaining. So if you have $1,000 in your bank account and you decide to save $100 of it, then that $1,000 becomes $900 and you feel like you've lost $100. But if you had kept that $1,000 in your bank account and invested it and it grew to $100, you would only feel like you gained $100. So we have to overcome that psychological barrier in order to be able to save money. We have to reframe saving money as a way to gain more freedom and more options in our lives, not as a way to lose money. The third rule is to live below your means. Now, this is a hard one for a lot of people because we live in a consumerist society. We're constantly bombarded with messages telling us that we need the latest iPhone, the newest car, the biggest house. But the truth is, we don't need any of those things to be happy. All of those things are just going to weigh us down and make us more stressed, not happier. So we have to be really careful and really intentional with our spending so that we don't get caught up in the rat race. The fourth rule is to invest early and often. Time is the most powerful force in investing. The earlier you start, the more time your money has to grow. It doesn't matter how much money you have, it matters when you start. Rule number 5 is diversify your investments. Don't put all of your eggs in one basket. If you invest in stocks, then make sure you're investing in a variety of different stocks across different sectors. If you invest in real estate, then make sure you're not putting all of your money into one property. Diversification is really important to reduce risk and make sure that you're not overly exposed to any one investment. The sixth rule is to pay yourself first. Before you pay your rent, before you pay your utilities, before you pay your credit card bills, pay yourself first. Take a certain percentage of your income and put it directly into your savings or investment account. Automate it so that you don't even have to think about it. And then live off of the rest. That way you're always saving money. It becomes a part of your lifestyle. Rule number 7 is to have multiple streams of income. Now, this is becoming more and more important in today's economy, because it's becoming less and less likely that you're going to have one job for your entire career. In fact, it's estimated that millennials will have 10 to 15 jobs throughout their lifetime. So it's really important to start thinking about how you can diversify your income so that you're not relying on just one job. And that means starting a side hustle, investing in rental properties, creating passive income streams. Whatever it is, it's really important to have multiple streams of income so that you're not putting all of your eggs in one basket. The 8th rule is to be frugal. Now, this is a hard one for a lot of people because frugality is often seen as a negative thing. We think that being frugal means that we have to sacrifice and deprive ourselves of the things that we enjoy. But that's not really true. Being frugal just means that we have to be really careful and really intentional with our spending. We have to make sure that every purchase that we make is really serving us and adding value to our lives. So that might mean cutting back on some of the things that we don't really need, but it doesn't mean that we have to sacrifice and deprive ourselves of the things that we do need and that bring us joy. The 9th rule is to avoid lifestyle inflation. This is a really common problem that people experience when they get a raise at work. When they get that raise, they might think, great, I can finally afford to buy that new car, or upgrade my apartment, or take more vacations. But then, as soon as they do that, they realize that their new expenses are eating up their entire raise and they are no better off than they were before. So it's really important to avoid lifestyle inflation and make sure that as your income increases, your expenses don't increase at the same rate. Instead, use that extra money to save, invest, or pay off debt. And the 10th rule is to be patient. Building wealth takes time. It's not something that happens overnight. Even if you invest in the stock market, which is probably the easiest way to build wealth, it still takes time. On average, the stock market returns about 8% per year. So if you invest $10,000, you might only see $800 in profit after 1 year. But if you're patient and you continue to invest over time, then your profits will compound and eventually you'll reach your financial goals. So it's really important to be patient and not get discouraged. Building wealth is a marathon, not a sprint. So these are the top 10 rules that have helped me to achieve financial freedom. They're not in any particular order, and not all of them are going to apply to everybody. But hopefully this gives you a good starting point as you begin your own journey towards financial freedom. Thank you for watching, and I hope you learned something valuable. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up and share it with someone who might benefit from it. And don't forget to subscribe so you never miss out on future videos. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.